All right, we're joined by someone who's become a friend of ours through covering the Conservative leadership race, Robert. He's from Ontario, and we're going to just talk about the what we see as the top three contenders for the leadership race right now: Kevin O'Leary, Andrew Scheer, and Maxime Bernier. Robert, you're a big supporter of Andrew Scheer. Can you tell us what draws you to Scheer and what you think makes him the best?
Well, that's correct, and thank you for having me on the show. So, when I choose a leader, I look for three factors. First, which one is a real conservative who proposes real conservative policies and doesn't just suck up to what the liberals want. Secondly, someone who can keep our party united, who won't go into divisive issues that even our party can't unite on. And lastly, who can communicate our message in a positive way that can allow us to win in 2019. And I think Andrew exemplifies all those qualities very well. And there are candidates that have some of those qualities, but I think Andrew is the only one who has all three of those qualities.
Yeah, I guess, Isaac, probably we would have a slightly different take. We would be more oriented towards a politician who's very freedom oriented and not necessarily as much loyalty to the Conservative Party. But
Yeah, I would.
we totally understand your take on this. Would you? We're strongly pro-life here, and Maxime Bernier is not at all. He is pro-choice. What is your position on that, and how do you see Andrew Scheer with that position?
Well, personally, I am pro-life, and Andrew Scheer is also pro-life. However, lots of the MPs or future candidates in our party will not be pro-life, and Andrew has announced that if he is leader, the party will not be campaigning on the issue of life because our own party can't even agree on it. So what's the point of introducing legislation into the House if it won't even get passed through a Conservative majority because our own MPs won't be able to agree on it?
Yeah, I see that angle, but wouldn't it make sense more to have a candidate who has a personal position that you disagree with, who's going to stand up for it, versus a candidate like Scheer who's got a personal position that is pro-life, but is not actually going to back that position up in the House? It seems more like a political play than actually being personally strong on the issues.
I don't see it that way. I think Andrew's very confident in being pro-life and he's very passionate about it. However, if we were to introduce legislation on that or attempt to, members of parliament, conservative members of parliament would vote against that legislation. And I don't think it would be the right option to prevent them from doing that because our party has a history of respecting conscience rights for members of parliament to allow them to vote what their morals tell them to.
That makes sense. I have a question for you. What do you think? You said that you might be supporting Bernier in your second to third vote. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, what do you see? What leads you towards someone like Bernier and less of like someone like O'Leary? What are the differences there?
The differences between O'Leary and Bernier.
Well, one of the big issues that you see that are important to you in differentiating those two candidates.
Well, when we compare Maxime Bernier to Kevin O'Leary hasn't had any history in the party. In fact, he's actually donated money to the Liberals in the past, and he has taken Liberal positions on many issues.
Yeah. So you think it's you think it's important that they be completely devoted to the Conservative Party?
I don't expect that they have their whole lives devoted to it. I would be fine if Kevin O'Leary joined and he didn't in the past volunteer for our party or donate. However, the problems arise when in recent years he has publicly supported opposing parties. Like a few months ago, he called himself very liberal. He said he supported a carbon tax just a few months ago, in fact, at the convention. And I feel like he is not in the right party.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And people like us who are supporting a candidate like Scheer or Bernier, who is been in the Conservative Party for a long time, are looking for ways to not necessarily destroy Kevin O'Leary, but to tell people who are supporting him just because of his reality TV appearances and his name recognition that that he's not the guy. So how do we convince people and make them understand that Kevin O'Leary's not really, he's a lot of talk and not as much conservative action. How do we convince people of that?
Well, I think it's usually pretty simple. Most people assume that whoever is running for leader is a conservative, so they mostly focus maybe on the personality traits or their leadership skills. And I'm sure Kevin O'Leary is a strong leader. However, we need to the only thing we have to do is show people what O'Leary has said in the past, his statements, what he believes in. And I think usually as soon as people see that, they tend to be very surprised. They're like, whoa, he doesn't seem like a conservative. And then they revoke their support from him immediately and feel somewhat embarrassed sometimes.
Yeah, so essentially, it's just telling people what Kevin O'Leary really stands for in his life, and people then understand that he's not the best man for leading Canada.
More like letting him explain it to them by
Yeah.
when you just show them videos of things he said in the past, he explains it himself.
Like the video where he says that he'd be happy if people married a goat, I think. That's
Yeah, I
not
don't think that's a very popular position among social conservatives.
No, I don't think so. Robert, I do have a question for you. Now, you're fairly young. I don't. How old are you?
15.
15. Okay, you're younger than I thought you were. Okay, what prompts someone that's 15 to be so involved and interested in the conservative leadership race and the Conservative Party in general?
Well, I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's just I love everything about politics. I've been a strong supporter of this party, and I get excited helping candidates, volunteering for campaigns, and doing such things.
Well, that's great to hear. It is really kind of a phenomenon these days that politics has become so prominent in just our everyday lives, where it used to be kind of segregated off, especially nowadays in the United States. It's become so prominent, and it's a part of our everyday lives now. People are talking about Trump and Hillary and Hillary memes and all this kind of thing. You know, it kind of has encompassed our daily lives. What do you think is the most important thing in getting younger people involved in politics?
I think a good place to start is really explaining to them how it affects them in their daily lives, how it really matters which candidates can be able to present an economic platform that will create jobs, because many people don't realize, but it's only a few years until people my age will be working soon. As soon as we finish school, university, we'll need to find a job, we'll start paying taxes, so these things should be of concern to us. And I think if we are able to point these things out to people on how much of an impact government can have on them, people will start paying attention.
Yeah, that sounds great. On Kelly Leitch, she's been a very controversial figure in the race. She's got a lot of coverage. She seems to be tanking in support since O'Leary's come in and some other stuff has happened. What's your position on her? Will you be supporting her higher up or lower down in your ballot?
Kelly's probably going to be somewhere in the middle of my ballot, maybe around 5th or 6th. I'm sure what you want to hear is about the Canadian values test. So I agree with the concept that if people come to this country, they need to accept Canadian values. I believe Canadian values do exist. However, I don't think Canadian values test will magically solve this issue. I think having that position and pushing that issue as sort of a one-issue platform is misleading, and I don't think that's how our party can win, and I don't think that should be the focus of our platform.
Indeed. All right. You have any last questions, Isaac?
I think that's it. Robert, really appreciate you coming on. I think that's all for today. And thanks, folks, for watching this video. We really appreciate Robert coming on. And if you have any thoughts about it, please put in the comments down below. We'd love to hear you. And please subscribe, because we got new videos like this coming out twice a week. So thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.